Hi, I'm Jen, and I'm the Associate Facilitator for the online Adobe Connect classroom for the School of Continuing Education. So I'm just here to kind of give you a quick overview and explanation of the classroom so that when you start your class, you can get right into the material and you don't have to fret too much about the technology aspect of it. I'm just going to give you sort of a basic overview. So if you look here on the screen, I've written up sort of a quick agenda for what I'm going to go through. I'm going to go through the sort of the general overview. I'm going to talk about the key features, and these are sort of the key features that you'll look at sort of in your first few classes. You'll likely make use of all these features. I'm just going to go over the different statuses of the classroom, as well as talk about pods and notes. And finally, just a few helpful tips that I've sort of picked up along the way using Adobe Classroom. So I have about 2 plus years using this classroom kind of consistently. I've done my master's completely online through Adobe Connect. So I'm really comfortable with the classroom now, but let me tell you, it doesn't take very long to become very comfortable. Within a few classes, you'll sort of get very familiar with it, and by the time you're about 4 or 5 classes in, you'll feel pretty confident with your ability to use many of the key features, and you'll be great. So just a keynote, right now I'm actually using an external mic and a headset. So I do encourage you to use an external mic, not your laptop or your computer mic. So even the Apple headset, speaker, the earbuds with the speaker, if you do have a full headset or an external microphone and a headset, those work great. Your laptop or your computer mic, they don't tend to work the best with Adobe Connect. There tends to be a lot of feedback. So we just always encourage everyone to sort of use a mic that's external from their computer, and you'll probably get the clearest sound, as well as it'll just make your life a little bit more simple, and sharing your ideas will come across a little bit better when you can be as clear as possible. So quickly, so if I go over to the attendees list, so if you can follow my mouse right here, you can see that my name is here. So when you sign in, your name should show up. And then you can see that the speaker is blinking beside my name, and that just means that I'm talking. So something to know, if you ever do decide to talk in class, if you are talking in class and your speaker's not blinking, it likely means your microphone's not on. If that is the case, that happens a lot. People will start to talk, and you can see them on webcam speaking and their microphone's not on. Just always take a quick glance over at your name to make sure that the microphone is blinking, and then you know for sure that what you're being said is also being heard. So as I said, you'll show up in this list, and that basically means that you're one of the attendees in the classroom, and you can see who else is attending the classroom. It's always just your first name. Unless you are the professor in the classroom, sometimes they'll have both their names, but often it's just your first name. So beside it here is the chat box. So the Adobe Classroom does offer a chat feature. So this is really great. So a lot of professors and teachers encourage you to sort of have an ongoing discussion during the class. So while the professor's lecturing, a lot of people will share their ideas. They'll share links. It's just a really great spot to keep the conversation going, and a great feature to learning online. As well, you can have a private conversation with anybody in the classroom, and so you can do so by clicking on their name. Because there's nobody else in the classroom right now, I can't do that. But you click on their name, and it allows you to have a sort of a private conversation with them. So if you are doing any group work or any sort of pairs work, this is a great feature to allow you to have that conversation that the rest of the class doesn't necessarily have to be in on. So moving up to the key features, and these are the features you're going to use within the first couple of classes that you have in an Adobe Classroom. The first is, of course, raising your hand. So this is a really important one. If you do want to speak, like a regular classroom, we just encourage you to raise your hand. So as you see, I've clicked on it here, and the hand's gone up beside my name. So the teacher will know that you've raised your hand and call on you as well, and then you'll have the opportunity to speak. It also allows you to sort of agree, disagree. Sometimes the teachers will ask for green check marks if you agree with the statement, just different features like that. It also allows you to show that you've stepped away. So this is really great. So if you do have to step away for whatever reason, you can click stepped away, and then everyone will know that you're not presently there because you are on an online classroom. Nobody can actually know for sure if you've stepped away, especially if your webcam's not on. So this just kind of lets the class know, and then that way they're not calling on you and you're not actually there to answer. Another one is applause. Gets used a lot as well, but you can become familiar with them as you use the classroom. Beside it, of course, is the webcam. So we do encourage you to turn on your webcam. A lot of professors utilize this. They'll let you know if they prefer you to turn it on or off. It does help create that sort of connection with people through learning environment. The next is your microphone. So the key feature about this is turning on your microphone and muting it. So as I said, you'll see that the microphone's blinking beside me because I'm talking. If you need to mute your microphone, you simply just click on it. And it shows up with a red line through it. So that's really great to note, to keep your, that if you want to mute your microphone, that it will have that red line through it, which means that you won't be heard and anything that you say won't be picked up. Next, of course, is your speaker. And that just, of course, will adjust, if you want to adjust the volume, if you need it louder or quieter, you need to mute the speaker for whatever reason, this is what you'll do here. So another key feature is that Adobe Connect offers breakout rooms. So while you are in the main classroom, will be your learning environment, a lot of professors and teachers will break you out into smaller breakout rooms, and those are located here. You can see that, and that's just a great feature for the online classroom. So you get that group interaction environment while still having like the online experience as well. And something I always just like to point out right away is that most professors and teachers do record their sessions. So it's just good to note that, you might be recorded. So anything you say or do might be sort of recorded and documented as well. So Adobe Connect offers sort of 3 different statuses. They're host, presenter, or guest. So you're usually, if you're registered as a student within that classroom, you'll be brought in often as a presenter. And these gives you certain privileges. So you can speak, you can turn on your webcam, but you might not have the ability to sort of necessarily share documents. You might not have the ability to give privileges. The host is the top one, and most professors are hosts, and they'll often make a lot of their classes hosts as well, and that gives you full range of capability within the Adobe Classroom. So when you become more familiar, you'll sort of understand what the different statuses allow you, but it's really just kind of important to note right away that there are different statuses. So for whatever reason you get kicked off the classroom, or if the system crashes and you come back in and you come as a guest, you might not be able to talk, and you might not be able to share your webcam, but you can always message the host and let them know that you're sort of back and that you need the privileges. So I always just like to point this out kind of right away, because sometimes students get kicked off and they sort of freak out that they're not, that the teacher may not know that they're there because they can't speak, they can't turn on their mic because they're a guest. You can always message the host, and they'll happily move you up in the status to presenter or to host to allow you those privileges as well. So for whatever reason, if those things are turned off for you, don't freak out. They absolutely can change that for you. The other thing that's really great to kind of note, and you may not use this right away, but I just wanted to point it out, is the pods option. So you can share different documents. So Adobe gives you that feature, which is really great for presenting. So you can share a document like I did here. So you can share a document, share your screen if you have to, and a lot of professors will take advantage of this. The other thing is there's a notes pad. So this isn't your individual notes pad, so just keep that in mind. They're not your notes. They're the notes the whole class can see. But a lot of people will take notes when they're working in the groups, or sometimes professors will take notes to sort of document what the students are saying. So you just write it like that. Just a key feature about this is not Google Docs. Only one person can write on the notepad at once. So if you're all trying to type at once on the same notepad, it just won't work. So usually if you see, you can see that somebody's typing in the notepad, just let them finish typing before you sort of take your shot at it. Of course, you can actually export it. You can email the note to yourself as well. So that's something that's really great if there's a lot that's said that you want to sort of make note of. And finally, I'm just going to go over some few helpful tips. I really encourage you to mute your mic while others are speaking. This is kind of something you'll learn right away, and something that you'll see happens is that when others are speaking and there's a lot of microphones that are on, it picks up a lot of feedback. So just keep your mic muted while others are speaking, and then when it's your turn to speak, unmute it. If for whatever reason at any time you can't see the chat and you see that people are typing, but nothing is popping up in the text box, just exit out of the program and come back in. There are a few glitches in Adobe Connect that I've sort of been there since I've been using it, but these are very, very minor, and they honestly, you just honestly have to restart the program. So you just exit out and come back in. Most professors and teachers are completely understanding of this, and they know the glitches probably better than you. They probably experience more of them, so they completely understand. You can pause your camera as well, and this is something that's really great to do, especially if you have to step away, just so that people aren't looking at a bare space or not really knowing what they're looking at. As well, if there's ever any freezing, or if you have a glitch or you get kicked off the program, just sign off and come back in. As I said, most of the professors are really understanding of this sort of thing. They understand that this happens. I've had professors get kicked off and come back in. These are just a few glitches in the Adobe program. Sometimes they happen because of poor Wi-Fi. Sometimes they happen because of people sometimes they happen because there's too many people on the Adobe Classroom at once, for whatever reason. But usually when you sign off and sign back in, you're fine the second time around. And as I said, most people are very understanding of it, so don't stress if it does happen to you. I know the first time it happened to me, I was a little paranoid about it, but don't worry, you'll be fine with it. So as I said, just play around with the classroom. There's not much you can screw up. They're all set up in a very specific way. So I just encourage you to try different things within the classroom and experience sort of what Adobe Connect has to offer, and definitely ask questions if you do, and I'll take any questions now if you have any. All right, thank you.